owned by Americans. 30 years ago, it was around 200 million. Today, we're approaching double that, somewhere around 400 million. Million Americans, it's estimated now, own firearms. 5 million of those were just during this last 1 year who became new gun owners.
That explains the ammo shortage.
Yeah, it sure does.
We discuss that because my guys are going nuts.
Yeah, do you have any? I want to talk to you.
Yeah, I know. We are working. C does. He has a chat for that. He creates chats about all those guys.
During that same
let me know if the buffering is a little
violent
better.
crime in the United States fell in half during the last 30 years. So the people who say more guns is going to equal more crime,
I was just
well,
trying to
that's
fix the
obviously not
buffering.
true. We cut violent crime in half at the same time. Now, I'm an honest man, or at least I do my best to be. I'm not going to say that the fact that less crime, law enforcement is the reason for less crime. Laws we pass and that our friends in law enforcement enforce, that's the reason for the decrease in crime. We've passed a lot of good laws in the last 30 years. Not all of them, certainly, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. Number of states issuing concealed carry permits. 30 years ago, there was 8 or 10. Now it's all of them. As of 2014, Illinois got dragged kicking and screaming to be the last state to finally issue concealed carry permits. It's all 50 states now. Now, they're not all what's called shall issue, unfortunately. There's about 8 states that I think are called may, who are worthy or not of exercising your right. But all states do offer some form of concealed carry permit. Number of carry permits. 20 million as of 2020 within the United States. 26% of them are female, and the number of new women outpaced men by 100% during the last 2 years.
Dang women ruined everything. We used to have a men's gun shooting club. Now look what y'all did. Buy number ammo, we have to stay home. Killing me.
10 years ago, only 3 states had constitutional carry. I believe it's 18 now. I think it's 18. It's over a third of the country now has constitutional carry, where you don't need a permit. The Constitution is your permit, as it should be.
Amen. That's right.
So let's look at Oregon state gun laws. On the positive side, Oregon is an open carry state. You can open carry in most of this state. There's a few places where it's restricted, as we know, but for the most part, this is an open carry. To compare the states together, that makes us fairly liberal in the good sense, in the possible liberal sense, as compared to other states. Oregon is a shall issue concealed carry permit state. And there's no reason why you shouldn't be issued a permit. They have to issue it. They don't get a choice. That's not the case in California. They get to decide whether you're worthy. That's why I live in Oregon. Oregon, at this point, still has what's called preemption, where only the state restrictions on where and when and how you carry. Localities, airports, school districts cannot do that. Now there's actually a bill in the process right now. They're going to try to undo that, and that's very serious, because if they undo that and allow localities to restrict concealed carry, obviously very hard to carry, because you would never know when you're on the grounds of someplace where it's restricted and you might be breaking the law, and you wouldn't even know until you get the doorway of a building and see the sign and say, oh, by the way, I'm the law for the last 100 feet since you came on our property. So that's a serious one. It's Senate Bill 554. Oregon is effectively a stand your ground and castle doctrine state. That means if you become the victim of a violent crime, you're not expected to have to run away first before you defend yourself. And that's the way that should be. And Oregon is on the right side of the law with that one as well. Personal info of holders of concealed handgun licenses were made exempt from public records law without a court order a few years back. I think that was that Kim Thatcher. Thank you, Senator Thatcher. Yeah, she's my senator, by the way. I'm a very lucky Oregonian in that way. In 2018, those would have made assault weapons and so-called large failed for different reasons, but they both failed, thankfully, and they haven't brought that bill back up since. About half the counties in the state have passed some form of Second Amendment sanctuary ordinance. So that's a good thing too, where they're insisting that they have local control over these issues. Senate Bill 941 passed in 2015, which made it background checks required in between private parties. I personally am not necessarily against background checks. You know, I want to make sure that, you know, who's armed. But the fact is, they just really don't work.
You guys wearing two masks on a jog.
Look at the real effect of them. So I support the idea of it, but I've opposed most of the bills on this subject because it. But unfortunately, that's the case now. Legally, you have to go to a gun dealer to transfer any gun unless it's between direct family members, father, son. Senate Bill 719A passed in 2017, which is the red flag. Unfortunately, that's still on Oregon now too. You can be disarmed when you have a. Yep. The governor, Ms. Brown, extended keeping records of successful background checks and purchases for 5 years because Oregon law allows that. There's no reason for them to keep those records of a successful was allowed to go ahead with the purchase. Why they're keeping that info, there's no reason for it. But the state law allows them to keep it for 5 years, and she put in an executive order to say they're going to keep that info for 5 years. And as far as I know, there's no proof that they get rid of it then. I'd like to see some proof that they're deleting those records after 5 years. The last few years that say if in a background check you don't get a positive result, which means you're clear, you can't go through with the sale. Federal law says that if you get delayed for investigation because your name is similar to somebody or for whatever clerical reason might be going on, if they don't clean it up within 3 days, if they don't clear it up, the sale can go ahead. Oregon law actually says, now they're trying to undo that and make it permanent. And again, there's not much of any effect. The sort of theory behind it is good, but it really just stops the wrong people, and they want to be able to delay you forever, effectively on that. So, yeah, I mentioned 554 is active in this session. Those are the two. They purchase forever until you get a positive result from the background check, which the Oregon State Police are completely overwhelmed. And you could be delayed for weeks, months, permanently, who knows. So to insist that you get a positive result before the sale can go forward, that's not right. It's an unconstitutional delay. About getting rid of preemption. So that's it. Some legislators do this stuff because they think it's going to make us safer. Others do it even though they know it's not going to make us safer. The first set of people, we need to help them understand. The second set of people just flat have to be opposed in any way you can. How can you get involved? Join the gun organizations, the NRA. Things to court. You know, as we can't rely on the courts always, you know, unfortunately, they fall. We're stronger together, so join these organizations. Oregon Firearms Federation. I'm a part of an organization called Oregon Citizens Lobby, where we go in here and we lobby, you know, for the good bills, which are unfortunately very ones that are not so good, which is much more often. Join organizations. Check out whether your county has a, and you can find out at www.sanctuaryordinance.com and your county.
Right.
And that's it. That's my comments.
Thank you. Yeah. Woo.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. He said stay close to the mic. Hey, can I get you guys to all move in a little bit closer? Hello, all the wonderful gentlemen out there wearing those two colors that are the colors of my vehicles, yellow with another color.
And the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Pardon? Oh, and the Pittsburgh Steelers, that's right. I don't talk. For those of you that are from that state south of here, not my fault. It's where my parents lived. Wonderful to be here. And since I've been here, going, well, what is it that I'm going to talk about? Because those of you that know me know that I generally do not prepare any notes. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Proud Boys, for putting this together. And for those that are listening, and I am live streaming on Facebook. And you've been on Facebook, sorry. But that's just how. Those of you that don't know who the Proud Boys are, I think they're a great group of men and some women. Yeah!
Right.
And they love this country. We don't lose our rights. So thank you, gentlemen and ladies, for your service. It is well, I honor you and thank you. Where the state of our country is right now. I made a little trip back east recently. This is one of my souvenirs that I bought in this little place called Washington, D.C. I had a little visit from a 3-letter agency. Figure it out for yourselves. But they came and visited me. And they wanted my videos. I was there with a press pass, which, unbeknownst to me, actually afforded me some extra protections, which was kind of nice. But the questions they asked me are, what did I do, etc., etc., etc. Now, the last time that I
Right.
last
That's
time
right.
I checked, I do not need a passport to go from Oregon to Washington, D.C.
That's right.
Last time I checked, I'm still a citizen. I won't go down that road. My brain wants to go there. No, it cannot. I've been reading too much stuff lately since I got back. I told them they could go to a Facebook page that I've since closed because I had uploaded some videos there. And I closed and I took down those videos, and this is why. And this is what really upsets me a lot, living in this country. That were there doing the crimes, they were looking for people like you and me. You see, and I go, hi, what is your name? Well, my name is Charlie Jones. Charlie, where do you live? I live in Topeka, Kansas. Charlie, what brings you here to Washington, D.C.? And Charlie that his forefathers fought in the Revolutionary War, that his forefathers fought in the Civil War, that his forefathers fought in World War I. And he's seeing our country being taken over by communist Marxists. Support our president, Donald John Trump, and to make sure that every single vote counts. And that's what he, for the record, for those people that are watching my videos, because believe me, my videos are watched. Charlie Jones from Topeka, Kansas. Just letting you know. I just made that up. But that's the kind of things that people were telling me, so I opted some 3-letter agency knocking on their front door, asking them what they asked me, because they had every legal right to be there. and in this country. Isn't it a shame? Isn't it a shame that we cannot share freely without being concerned for our fellow citizens that they're going to get harassed by some law enforcement agency when all they're doing is exercising their First Amendment right, the freedom to peacefully assemble, and the freedom to redress our government for our grievances.
Yes, sir.
People, we need to start looking locally. And yes, I'm still running. I filed already for 22 for the U.S. Senate nomination to unseat the 3rd senator from New York City. That would be Mr. live in New York because that's where his wife and kids are. So I won't, belittle him for that, but he should not be our U.S. senator. But we need to start looking locally. We need to start looking at county by county. How many of you guys know who Scott Kesterson is? Does anybody out there know who Bard's FM is? Scott Kesterson. Okay, I've got his cards. He lives outside of Roseburg. He's a great patriot. He's putting together this initiative called County. And it is a way for us nationwide to get to know every official in our county commissioners. Are they good or are they not good? Are they for freedom or are they for tyranny? Are they Republican, Democrats, or something else? What about your sheriff? Is your sheriff a constitutional sheriff? And going on down the line. I've got some business cards so you can go online to his website so you can find out about this information. But this is how we're going to take it back. We need to do it from the local level. We need to start pushing back. One of the things that's one-on-one on this, and Mr. Romero mentioned it a little bit, and that is voting. Yes, let's get back to poll voting, but we're going to have to do an Oregon constitutional amendment to change our... More importantly, not only voting in person, but not uploading the results upline. Everything counted by hand and then hand delivered over there to that building, to the Secretary of State's office by the county sheriff or a deputy. Nothing on upline. And then none of this encrypted stuff. That's how I look at it. Anything online, I don't care if it's encrypted, there's a way for somebody to break it because somebody designed it. To do it. I'm not the specialist in that, but I just know that it can be done. So it's just really an important thing to do. I see people headed that direction. Be careful, gentlemen and ladies. Go over there and do their thing. That's all good. It's all good. My name is Joe Ray Perkins.
Don't engage them. That's what they want.
Yeah, just ignore them. They don't deserve the time today. One thing I want to talk about is this is still the United States of America, and this is the one country where people come to. They leave their homelands. They leave everything that they know, their friends, their family, their way of life, to come here for our freedom. And at the end of the day, I would lay odds that if we sat down and talked with them, we would find out that we have a lot more in common with them than we don't. They just don't know it. What is anti-fascism? How many here are for fascism?
You mean suppression of opposition?
True fascism.
They aren't anti-fascist though. They are actually.
For totalitarianism, oligarchs, we are for freedom and liberty. So we need to start finding ways to have conversation with those that are not on the same page as you and I. I think it's really, really important that we start doing that. Get them sequestered, get them away from the group, from the mob mentality, and start talking with them. I actually did that a couple of years ago outside of... We agreed on everything except for two areas. One being government paid for health coverage, and two, I'm pro-life and he's not.
Look at how fast they mobilize for the Proud Boys. It's crazy. And fighting.
Which is sad but true in America. But we need people to run for school boards. Talk to you if you're a Republican, because I know that's what we're doing in Lynn County, is we are recruiting people to run for various offices. Talk to people. Find out who's running. Are they a good person or are they a place, because the school boards help dictate if the schools are going to be reopened. They help dictate the contracts that the school teachers get and the faculty get, and they also help dictate the curriculum that we need people to run for school boards throughout this state. It is imperative, and it doesn't take a whole lot of time away, but it makes a huge difference. I think is March 18th. I think that's the filing deadline. So please check into that. Think about running for school board, whether it's at the school level or at the community college level. It is really, really important to do. We also have water districts. Guess what? They can tell you how much water you can be running if there's a lot of important things out there to be involved. And I appreciate y'all being here. It's important that even though it's a small group, it's a group. Get out there and make a difference. That's all it takes. We're not going to quit. And I have a trivia question for you. When did the American Revolution start? Does anybody know when the American Revolution began? Wrong.
1773.
The American Revolution started 15 years before the first shot was fired. 15 years of diplomacy. 15 years of talking with the crown. 15 years of pushing back. Friends, we have not come anywhere close to that 15 years yet, and I hope to God in heaven and God on this earth, God in my heart, that country back. I say that to say I know there's a lot of people out there that are going, you're going to go after. We're not looking at the redcoats. It's not as clear and cut dry as it was in 1776. But we need to find ways, and the one ways we can do it is to get on the inside of government. Get elected, get a job working for the state on the inside, and do things like joining the Oregon Liberty Coalition. Did I say that right, Jeff? Okay. Oregon Citizens Lobby, sorry. There's too many coalitions we have in this state. Oregon Citizens Lobby. Find out how to lobby your elected officials. Find out how to read the bills. Find out what to do. My name is Jo Ray Perkins, and thank you again, the Proud Boys, for putting together this freedom. Thank you.
My turn.
Your turn. Oh, good, you didn't shout me down.
Oh, no. Nobody's going to shut you down. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I love them yellow shoes. Those are awesome.
Go talk more. What did you say?
Other one.
Other one. No, we're good. So done with Call Me Cake Clown. Is that what you said?
Tommy Clown Cake Clown.
Because who the hell organized this thing? Nobody knows. All right, this was kind of like, who's behind all this? We all went, we don't know. Proud Boys came here to bring food and be who we are, and then we said it looked like we had the gun guy come here and tell us things that we didn't know historically about our Second Amendment rights, which was we had politics. First Amendment, Second Amendment. We had food, eat, drink, be merry. This is one of the first times that I've ever come to Salem, the capital. To deal with Antifa, we asked nicely. And I want to say this to Blam Tifa. Thank you very much, because the last time we met, and you know what, Gary, we'd like to start brand new. This is an eyeball. Eye for an eye. Hey? No, I'm joking. That's a dark joke. You know, I want to say thank you very much. We had God, guns. Last time we all got it. We don't know who organized this. We had the church. We had politicians. Rights. God, guns, and guts. That's what made this country free. We want to thank you for all the guest speakers, Joe, Paul, those guys running for office. We need more candidates. We need more Oregonians to stand up. Video games, quit being afraid, run for office. You heard it over and over again. Stand up for your rights. I see some of you guys are armed here, which is most awesome, by the way. And if you have not bought a t-shirt and left without, because most of us are deplatformed, so we don't have a platform. Almost everybody here probably can't really speak through word of mouth. This right here, what you're seeing right here, is basically word of mouth, and it will grow. We're starting over. All right? The beautiful thing about America, tenacious. We have intestinal fortitude. There's no such thing as white supremacy. It's an idea. It's the same idea as Antifa and all the other hoo-ha. Go to the source. What really is the Go to the source.
Politicians.
It's not white, black, yellow, green. Who's really causing the problem? Who's really dividing you? Anyway, speaking of division, here you see over here you have, it's divided. You can buy t-shirts, which are really cool because like this, and you have free food. And it's not none of that cheap shit. It's corn. This is actually the beef that you would eat. You want a hamburger? Get a hamburger. At Costco. Who doesn't shop for Costco?
Definitely hard $6.
Wonderful. Free. Have you gone to Costco and never got a free hot dog? Hell no. Alright? Come to the We the People thing, because we don't know who organized this. Probably. Anyway, we don't know who organized this. Come back. Keep your ears open for those that can hear. We'll see you. Ain't done. Not until we get, what's that right there? The Capitol. Are we going to bust the windows and bust the doors? Hell no. Only by our shouts. Only by putting people in office. How do we get in there? Flip Todd, Vice President of the Portland Proud Boys, and we're out. Eat, drink, and be merry.
Before we go to social stages.
Okay.
And there's people out in the corner right there. Walking out for
So,
work.
I interrupted the end of I was listening to. So, do you click save as go? Okay. Oh, it was $6.
What's up, buddy?
What the fuck was that all about?
That's a good question. I don't
What the
know.
hell happened?
I'm just walking over there. Dude, like, just got in my face, like, got in front of me and just kept on, like, going in front. So I kind of went around. I went wide, you know. He stayed wide. And so
Was
then
it a
I
Proud
just,
Boy?
Yeah. So then I just stepped around him, and he tried to trip me, tried to sweep me, and then he flat tired me, stepped on the heel of my shoe. And so then I went up a little bit more, just ignored him.
Testing.
And I-
Oh, one more thing. Proud Boys. Proud Boys. Where are my Proud Boys? Raise your hand.
Yeah, that was crazy. I was watching. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
We forgot this
It's like,
part.
don't they know?
Megan Stevens has been a really huge
It's like when
part
that
of,
politician
lately.
was calling you a fucking
has helped
Antifa.
and been very
It's like,
supportive of the Proud
bro,
Boys.
you're clueless.
in here in Salem.
I think the testosterone
Some people
gets
hate her,
pumping, and I think
some people
people
love her. I
forget,
always
you
judge
know
a
what I
person
mean?
by
Like,
their enemies
oh fuck, he's standing
and by
right
their
next to
character
me.
and their
like,
word.
Well, and you know,
She, for
I'm
me
publicly
personally,
identified as press. You know,
has
there's
never
only
word. I don't give a fuck what
crazy.
her problems are.
Wow.
What we have is Proud Boys. She has
Well, just
been
shows.
more than stood up for us hundreds of times. She's helped organize things.
I'm sure.
I guess, you know, is
it's our serving.
done stupid shit. You know, we've done stupid shit. Went fucked around, found out. You know, this is the first time that we haven't had violence. And TV. Thank you. Oh, but hey, you know, we're not gonna go away though. You remember when you said if you didn't come here, maybe we'll go away. We're not really gonna go away. I think we have some things that maybe we should work out. I have your eyeball card. Anyway, we have a flag that we're gonna.
Like, they just
you have
keep
some
coming
golden
back,
pins
like they
that
just
we're gonna
don't
sign.
get it.
So I want all my Proud Boys before we leave and break stuff down to get. I want first of all, I want the food.
Crazy.
If you all don't eat, I'm gonna be pissed off. and you don't want me pissed. And then we're gonna sign Megan's flag. We're gonna bring it out here. We're breaking stuff down. We're gonna give her a flag that you can do with whatever you wish. But you can't. Don't fly it publicly. We don't get along. Yes, we do. You know, you can't be a proud boy and be a girl.
Not proud.
You have to have a pecker.
Not proud. I have no penis.
You have no penis. Side.
You keep seeing them
Common
fucking.
sense. Come over there and eat. You guys, stop your live streaming for a moment.
I this,
Sign the
man.
flag over here.
Like either come over and mingle or just leave. You know?
Oh, they got state patrol over there. Bye, bird. Let's go already. They got state patrol over there. They followed him.
So you can see these are the agitators. Not the two ladies that are standing there, but in the background, walking across the street over there. They just keep walking back and forth. Yeah, I agree with the right wing groups, any groups. You know, if Antifa cut drugs out of their repertoire, they would. So, for everybody that didn't make it here, this was a 1A, 2A rally. We're down here in Salem. Like you probably heard, it was organized by the Proud Boys. And but now, I think it's because I'm using my phone today. I have a new camera set up, but I've got it set up for mobile live streaming, so I didn't want to bring it out, my battery not be set up for tonight. Everybody's kind of wrapping up. I think I might go grab me a hot dog and what else happens over here. I'm not really sure. Like I said, Antifa keeps running back and forth over there and causing problems. So if something goes down, I'll go live over it. But thank you guys for showing up. Live stream tonight. We will be live on all 3 platforms. It shouldn't buffer either. I'll have my live view pack. Hopefully it wasn't too choppy. I know a lot of people are saying it was buffering, and it's probably my phone trying to run 3 platforms. But hopefully everybody enjoyed it. I kind of shut the Facebook chat off or the Facebook stream, just because it was kind of buffering and having trouble. So I tried to mitigate it a little bit. Just gonna see if I see some B cutting out. Sorry guys. All right. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go get some food and call this stream an end. And like I said, if anything else happens, I'll go live real quick. But for now, I'm gonna take off. I love you guys. Sorry about the choppy stream. I heard you guys. I see the comments. Like I said, the next stream should be better. That just got here and rerouting all the wires and everything through a backpack. So, all right, guys, I'm out of here. See you next time.